Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. It is Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. We've reached the third round of the US Open. We're going to preview some matches for tonight and tomorrow here on the fastest growing YouTube channel. Thanks a lot. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Hopefully you like what we're doing here. Ring that bell and be notified of everything every time any content drops. If it's tennis, soccer, basketball, NFL, you name it, we've got it covered for you here. Okay, let's move straight into the action. And I'm delighted to say joining me after he has returned from his short stint over in New York, it is Sean Calvert. I'm still in the Big Apple. Sean, how was your journey back? You all right, mate?
No, yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, it was all right actually. Flight was quite pleasant. I've got no complaints. Apart from the fact that I did have to get up at like 4 a.m. to do that thing that I told you about. I had to get the tube and then the Long Island Railroad and then the Jamaica Air train and all that stuff. But it's not bad. It only takes like an hour from the Upper West Side to get to JFK. So it would have been nice if it wasn't 4 a.m. But city that never sleeps. There's still a lot of people around at 4 a.m. So yeah, I got back last night, sort of late-ish last night. Stayed in a hotel near Heathrow. I just literally got back in the house about 45 minutes ago. I've just seen Lagan for about 2 minutes, and back on it with the next round.
And I think, were you telling me off fair? Under 6 hours coming back.
Yeah. The flight was less than 5 hours 50, I think it was. Yeah, it was. Wow. It's never unpleasant. That is it when the captain comes on and says, "Oh, we've got a nice a nice situation here. It's going to be less than 6." I mean, I've been delayed for 6 hours this season, and you probably have as well. I remember in Mallorca I was delayed 6 hours, and so yeah, flying back from New York in less than 6 hours, it does seem quite fast. But I'll take it for sure.
That is incredible. And obviously, we had a good day yesterday. João Muna got the job done. Biggest gambler of the day, beat Diallo. Plus 123, went off about minus 130.
Plus 123 when we talked about it. I'm not sure what he went off at, because I was kind of on the way home.
It was minus 130.
It was certainly very much odds on. Yeah, I managed to watch that one when I got back. So that was quite nice timing. But yeah, I think everything that I talked about on the last show won, didn't it? The two bets and the two leans. So yeah, it's nice when it works out at a big tournament, when there's a lot of people maybe watching this for the first time and trying to get into tennis betting. It's all good.
I think he was helped by the injury, but also I think he was helped by this crazy Englishman who was shouting "Vamos, vamos, vamos, Muna, Muna, Muna" after every time there was a point or anything like that. It's surrounded by Canadian fans and supporters on court number 7.
Well, the Canadians. The Canadians had their moment with Shapovalov, didn't they? They're not having it again. As I said in that, he wasn't fit. He didn't look at all fit, Diallo, against Zuma. He looked in really bad shape, and he just didn't look at the races at all against Munar. The worry with Munar is that he exactly what he showed in the first set when he's not really capable of closing out sets and matches. That was my concern, but he managed to get it done in the end.
Yeah, right side of a big gamble there. A lot of Canadian guys we're speaking to. They said we're going to subscribe to the channel. Hopefully they have done, and we were just having a bit of banter. Great fun over in New York. And you can follow my adventures on our socials at Because We Win on Instagram. Let's move on to the matter in hand, finding winners for tomorrow at the US Open. And the first match is a night game tonight. It's 8:10 this evening, and it's
caught the conditions. Sorry to interrupt you there, mate. I've got some. Do you want me to do the conditions first, or should we come back to that?
Yeah, sure. I was gonna lead into that, but no
sorry.
problem.
I've jumped the gun there. I've jumped the gun there, mate. Sorry about that. So there's after, I think I mentioned 44 main draw matches before. Now there's been 90 matches that we've got stats for. So the stats are very much the same as previous years. 78.2% hold, 72.6% first serve points won. But we have players that are varying with their opinions as ever. Zverev said the conditions, the court was much slower than last year, much slower. And Djokovic said it was quicker than last year. So there you go. That's just an example of what we have to contend with. I know Zverev's played evening matches, but he should be able to take that into consideration. Djokovic has played an evening match and a day match, so he's got both sides of it. And he says it's quicker. Zverev said it's a lot slower, but the statistics would suggest that it is exactly the same as previous years. Just very quickly on round 3, this is actually just got to be a little bit careful in round 3, because this is the worst round for underdog winners. Only 6 of the last 48 underdog winners have won in round 3, which is 13%. So just something to be aware of there. And just the weather, 26 degrees, be nice for you tomorrow. 26 degrees and sunny. It doesn't get any hotter than that, by the way, for the rest of the tournament. So 25, 26 rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I'm not at the tennis tomorrow. I'm at the tennis on Sunday, so my next visit is Sunday. Again, you can follow that on the socials app Because We Win. But these are all about matches tomorrow, and Taylor Fritz here is a very heavy favourite against Jerome Kim. Jerome Kim has done really, really well. A Swiss player, quite impressive what I see. I bet him in play. We bet him, didn't we? We bet him with his start against Nakashima, and we said it could go over the games as well. Easily, both of those easily cashed. I bet him in play at plus 130 when he was. I think it was won the first set, but it was a good play. I was on the plane. I was on the plane betting him.
I was up there. I was right in the corner as far as you can get. Anyone that ever wants to see me at tennis tournaments for whatever reason, you'll find me lodged in the corner. If there's no behind the baseline seats, which there wasn't on that court, I'll be right in the corner diagonally watching it, so I don't have to keep moving my head from side to side, which I don't like. But I actually bet him at plus 450 in play, Kim, when he lost. Wow. When he lost the opening set, he should never. I think I said on Instagram, I was doing Instagram posts. He wasn't out of that first set. He should have won it all day long on the stats. Didn't. Managed to win the second set, which arguably perhaps he didn't deserve to win. But he was love 30 down on serve in that second set. I managed to get a nice spot at plus 450. So, I talked about Kim quite a lot, and he, as I'll say it again in a minute, he's a very good player.
Yeah, he's an underdog here though, plus $8 up against Taylor Fritz, who wasn't at his best against Harris. Obviously, we suggested that might be a struggle as well, but he came through 3-1. There's 46 different markets available on the Bet Rivers website. The pair of them have never met before, so there's no head-to-head record to go on. Obviously, Fritz is going to have the home support. He's still the number one American. Might not be number one American the way that Ben Shelton is going at the moment, but currently the number one American, and he's got a lot of points to defend here after making the final last year. It's a bad round for the favourites, but we've got a very, very heavy favourite here this evening.
Well, it's a bad round for the underdogs, that's for sure.
I meant the underdogs. Right,
6 out of whatever it was, 48, 13% that is in the last 3 years. So, but they're not all going to lose, and I think Kim's got a decent chance here. Excuse me, or at least his price is way bigger than it should be. Fritz at, what is he, minus 1430. Yeah, I mean, Kim, I was happy that Kim showed his level against Nakashima. Big game, big shots, made it happen, and his body held up well because he's had a lot of injuries. He'll have had time to recover from that one as well. He's had, yesterday, and it'll be a night match. Fritz not been playing well. For me, struggled against Harris, certainly early on. Harris is a guy we've talked about before. His body almost always lets him down. He's had a nightmare time with injuries over the last sort of 3 or 4 years, and that was the case again. I think there was a neck injury involved with Harris, but it was a setup. If that neck injury hadn't happened, who knows? And, overs came in that one, as I suggested it might, and that was despite Harris's injury. And I think that's the way you've got to approach this one. Overs, total games. I'm going to take a particular bet, but there's numerous options. I mean, Kim's got the weapons to match Taylor Fritz. Anybody that saw the Nakashima match, if they hadn't seen him before, will know that. He actually won the same percentage of service points against Nakashima as Fritz did against Harris. So he's got a similarly big serve to Fritz. And I'll go with some more stats in a second, which kind of shows that. He hit 28 aces against Nakashima. And his game's all about that. The serve, the +1 forehand, those are his weapons. Very big forehand, very big serve. The backhand is certainly improving. It's improved from the last time I saw him live. Anyway, the backhand is pretty decent now. If we look at what he's done this US Open, service points won and return points won total 107, 88% holds a serve, 78% first serve points won, and he's hitting 0.92 aces per game, which is very, very comparable with Taylor Fritz. What Fritz has done, this hard court swing as a whole, same service points won and return points won total 107, 90% holds, 80% first serve points won, and 0.91 aces per game. So they're playing at a similar level. I know some of those matches from Kim have come through qualies, but whenever he has come up against the better players so far in his career, which hasn't been that often, but the 2 or 3 times that he has done it, his game has held up really well. He hasn't looked at all like a 179 ranked player. He's only ranked that low because he's had a lot of injuries. This guy's going to be top 100 pretty soon, I would suggest. As I say, his game's held up pretty well. But what I like here is +6.5 games. That for me seems like a big handicap for Fritz to cover. Not only given the way that Fritz is playing, which for me hasn't been that great. I know he's working his way into a Grand Slam, and this might be the day that he finds his level. But not for me the way he's been playing this whole hard court swing. He hasn't clicked yet. And this lad Kim has got the weapons for sure. I can't see Fritz breaking him that often. He's going to hold a lot, as I say, big serve, big forehand, big weapons, and I just think plus 6.5 games is too much for Taylor Fritz to cover here. Even money that is, I think, with a bet Rivers, I'm definitely going to take that. I think Kim's being underrated here.
Yeah, a very underrated, heavy favourite Taylor Fritz. Expectation of the nation on him, and we think the young Swiss star will cover the 6 and get the 6.5 star is the bet for him. There's a load of markets available with Bet Rivers. Still download the app, and obviously if you do have a bet on the match or any match of the US Open, you will be able to live stream that match. Next match is an interesting game, very interesting game. It's virtually a pick a match with Bet Rivers. Unfortunately, in the first match, we didn't have any head-to-head data, but we do have head-to-head data on Alexander Bublik against Tommy Paul. And that data, if you're a fan of the head-to-heads, you'll be rushing to bet the American, who leads 5-1 on the head-to-heads. The only time that Bublik did win was back in 2019 in Queen's Club on the grass. The last time they met was in Miami on a hard court, which Paul come through 6-4. And he also beat him at Wimbledon in 2024. But I watched Tommy Paul last night. Marathon match, should have won it straight, had match point, had to go 5 sets. Had a fitness issue coming into the tournament. Didn't look well yesterday. And Bublik, even though he's up against American, is a very, very popular player over here. Bublik is minus 104. Tommy Paul minus 120. Obviously, you've got the spreads. Totals are high, 39.5, as you would expect in a Bublik-Paul match. But it's whether Paul can bounce back. I know the match is tomorrow, but that was a long match. Took a lot out of him, and he has got fitness concerns coming into the tournament.
Yeah, I like this price on Bublik around about evens. It's not too often that you'll find me bullish about Bublik, because the way that he is, the way that his career has been. But he does look very confident at the minute. I watched him on grandstand against Cilic, and he just looks quite calm and businesslike, almost serene at the minute. Bublik, which is certainly something that you couldn't say about him at times in his career. I know Cilic didn't serve well at all, but it was still very impressive from Cilic, from Bublik, and he's backed that up again. Beat Schoolkate in straight sets as well. So he's coming in here in great form. As you said, Paul's not been fully fit, for the last few months. Really, he had to really struggle, as you said. I didn't see much of that match against Borges, but the stats tell the tale. 4.5 hours he was on court. I think he finished at about 1:45 a.m., 2 a.m., something like that.
He had a match point to make winning straight sets. Didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal, is it, when you're just coming back from injury, and quite a bad injury, not just a little tweak, hernia or whatever it was that he had, which was making him struggle for a long time. I think this is one which is just being priced on their head-to-head. Similarly to the Diallo one that we talked about the other day, where Diallo had the 2-0, and people were just thinking, Diallo, quickish conditions, 2-0, yeah, he's going to win that. Yeah, he might have done if he was in a reasonable physical condition, which he wasn't, and I don't think Tommy Paul is either. I doubt he's going to be after 4.5 hours of a toil against Borges either, and it's difficult for Paul to be playing his best tennis. He's only played 4 matches, I think, since coming back from that injury. 4 matches since Wimbledon. He's still trying to find his form. And if you look at what Bublik's done, I mean, this is arguably the form of his career, really, since the start of Roland Garros. 19 wins, 2 losses. Bublik, service points won and return points won, total of 107. 90% holds a serve, 81% first serve points won, and a lot of those matches, the vast majority, in fact, were on clay. So he's producing those stats on a surface that he's never really enjoyed. I know some of them were at altitude, which does help him, but it's very, very impressive. Just for the record, in that same time frame, Tommy Paul service points won and return points won, total of 103, and he's not been fully fit. So just in a snapshot of time where we are at the minute, Bublik is the peak of his powers, if you like, and Paul clearly is trying to get back there. Bublik should be the much fresher man. I mean, what did he play? 1 hour 43 minutes against Schoolkate, not much longer against Cilic. He's not been broken yet in 6 sets, Bublik. So I know it is all about the first serve. The second serve is perhaps where you would put a question mark. against Bublik. But I think this is being priced on the head-to-head, and just the circumstances of this match, where we are at the minute, I just feel like Bublik is a little bit of value here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He was very, very impressive in his two matches. Well, they were tricky opponents. Players that
they weren't bad opponents for sure. Cilic, a lot of people were thinking, myself included, actually, that Cilic could present a real challenge to Bublik, and it wasn't the case. I didn't see the School Cape match, but statistically, it looks like the serve was dominant for Bublik there.
He hasn't dropped the serve, as Sean said, hasn't dropped the set, and you can get him at a nice price to beat Tommy Paul to overcome that head-to-head record. But obviously, Tommy Paul must be exhausted, and he's not fit. If you like what you hear on the show, sign up for our newsletter, get exclusive tips and the free Insider magazine. Sign up for free at bettingweeklystudios.com. And if you sign up today, the Insider, you should be able to get the Insider. And this weekend is going to be a preview of the new NFL season. So if you're an American bettor, you want a preview from the handicapping team stateside. None of us Brits are going to give you tips on the NFL. It's all going to be done by you, the American team here, and that's going to be available. But also the Brits are going to weigh in with the best bets for this weekend's Premier League as well. So it's a combined edition Inside, and it's free at bettingweeklystudios.com. And also remember the US Open Profit Boost. If you log into your BetRivers app or on your the betrivers.com account, every day of the US Open, you will receive a profit boost of up to 50% for US Open wagering. See the app and the website for more details on that US Open profit boost. Next one we have sees another heavy favourite. Who can we trust? Who's erratic sometimes, who's crazy sometimes, but also can be brilliant. It's Andrey Rublev up against Coleman Wong. -1,000 is Andrey Rublev. Wong is $6. Spread again is a 6.5 handicap here. Total look quite low. 33.5. Wong has been in great form this week, come through qualification, looking good, beat Walton, beat Kovacevic, beat Billy Harris, the Brit, in the qualification group. Rublev lost a set last time out against Boyer. He's a heavy favourite. I can imagine him being lots of parlays. A lot of people might be looking at this round and thinking the favourites are going to do well. We could put him in a parlay. I don't think he'd be in Sean Calvert's parlay at -1,000, Andrey Rublev.
Yeah, there wouldn't be many. I wouldn't do that parlay for a start off. But, there can be value at heavy minus money, but it depends on the situation. I imagine you'll get a bigger price than this in play with Rublev. I mean, Coleman Wong is playing some excellent tennis at the minute, and he's not without a chance of at least testing Andrey Rublev here. You know, Rublev very rarely does things the easy way, generally, or particularly at majors. You know, and the way Wong's playing, this could be a test. I mean, it's not like Rublev's been in particularly good form this season. You know, and he almost got himself banging trouble again yesterday against Boyer. You know, he ended up having to win a fourth set tiebreak from being comfortable at two love up against an opponent you would expect him to beat. Ended up having to win a tiebreak to not go to a fifth. And, you know, he doesn't get many 3-0 wins in majors, Rublev. He's actually only won 3-0 9 times in his last 32 matches at majors. That works out to 28% of the time. But we're being told he's got a 58% chance of winning this match 3-0. So immediately there's a something wrong there, I think. Wong, I think, again, has been slightly underrated here. He's only dropped 2 sets in 5 matches here through the qualies and the main draw, Coleman Wong, and the statistics are very good for him. You know, service points won and return points won, total of 108. Service hold and break, total of 114. You know, he's beaten some decent opponents. You know, Adam Walton has been in great form. You know, Kovacevic, he's beaten as well. Who's been in decent form this season on the hard courts. You know, he's not beaten poor opponents. I also remember very, very vividly when he beat Ben Shelton in Miami, because I had Shelton to win Miami. Perfectly reasonable bet, you would think, in quick conditions on a hard court. A guy who knows Florida very well, Ben Shelton, lost in his first match against Coleman Wong. I remember it distinctly, as you would expect. That's the only time Coleman Wong's faced a top 20 player. So he's, you know, on the one occasion he has stepped up hugely in level. He's done really, really well. Rublev, you know, he didn't cover the 6.5 game handicap, the spread here. He didn't cover that against Prismic in the first round, didn't cover it against Boyer. So we're saying that he should cover it at minus money against Coleman Wong. I'm not so sure about that. I'd certainly be on the plus 6.5, I think, with Coleman Wong there. That's one option. Or take what Rublev normally does at majors when he plays players of this sort of ability, this sort of level, which is Rublev winning 3-1, which is a bigger priced option, plus 255 with Bet Rivers. That's probably where I'd go, either the handicap or the correct score in this one. I think Coleman Wong will produce a more of a test than these odds will suggest.
So there are a couple of leans on the Rublev match. Head across to the Bet Rivers website, download the app, 46 different markets. And remember, we haven't got the order of play yet, but these matches will be played on Saturday. The third round of the US Open on Saturday. The one match at the top of the show, Fritz, is just gone 8 o'clock this evening. So you've got to get on early for those ones. The rest of them, you have a little bit of time to get your bets down. Now, the last match we're going to preview is an all-Italian affair. Mamma mia. Where are we going to go with this one? But Lorenzo Musetti up against Flavio Cobolli. Now, Sean, I update ratings on the tennis for the Insider magazine, and that's how I've always priced up tennis matches. I update players' performance, and the biggest mover on the opening few days of the US Open has been Lorenzo Musetti. His rating, in my opinion, has moved up. He's playing at a level that is very good. You know, he come in obviously with injury concerns, and he come in. I've moved his rating up. He's got a test against Flavio Cobolli here, obviously the Italian who did well at Wimbledon. But he is the favourite. He's minus 250 Lorenzo Musetti, short price. Cobolli's plus 195, spread 4.5, and the total here is 37.5. If you look at Musetti beating Petri Perregard in round one, everyone expected the young Frenchman to give him a test. He won that fairly comfortably. Beat David Goffin, but he turned on the form. He had no form coming into the tournament. Cobolli's had 2 decent wins as well, but a very long match against Brooksby in the last match, and that was on court number 17, and that was it's probably the most open court. It wasn't a hot day yesterday, but that court is extremely hot. There's no shade at all on court number 17. I was watching a little bit on that court, and he was a little bit flagging at the end of that match. So I'm like what I see for Musetti. I know you won't be betting a 250. Are you disagreeing with me or not?
No, not really. I mean, I think Musetti will probably win this match. I mean, we're down now to the ones where I'm kind of trying to find an angle. I think really with this particular one, there is an angle of attack here, but when you get to round 3, there aren't that many underdogs that you think, they've got a real lively chance. The couple that I've mentioned before, the 2-3 that I've mentioned before, I think will do the business. Cobolli is fourth choice of those basically. So I think it could be interesting for a number of ways. I think you're right about Musetti. He is turning it on at the minute, but these two are very good friends. And when you get a match with two guys that know each other really well, they're close friends, it's quite difficult to play a mate in a really big match. And these sort of matches, they do often produce slightly unexpected results. I'm not expecting Cobolli to win this, but I think it might be quite close, certainly for a time. If you look at their stats since the start of Wimbledon, Cobolli, 69% win rate, service points won and return points won, total of 103, which is very good. Musetti's stats are very interesting, actually. He's got a total of 105, which is slightly better, but he's only got a 43% win rate. So Musetti, prior to the last couple of matches, he'd been playing pretty well, but losing matches that he probably should have won. I'm thinking Mickelson, Bonzi, those are two matches that he lost that he probably should have won, really. And in those stats that I just talked about, Musetti has been better on serve, as I would expect. Musetti's serve is better. Cobolli, for me, his first serve it's all right, but it's not great. His return stats are better. Cobolli is better on return than Musetti in those statistics. So a lot of the battle will be how well Cobolli is going to return the Musetti serve. You would obviously expect Musetti to have more in the tank than Cobolli after their opening matches here. Cobolli back-to-back 5-setters. Should have done it a lot easier, actually. I think he was 33-1 on in play at one point, Cobolli, before going really deep into a fifth, final set tiebreak in a fifth. But, Cobolli's going to be massively up for this. I know he's played a couple of back-to-back 5-setters, but he's playing a mate here for the first time, actually, in a main level match. They played, I think, in a sort of COVID, just post sort of COVID-y sort of tournament, but Musetti won 7-6, 6-4, but that's not really relevant. This is the first time they've played in an actual main level match. And, Cobolli's got some very, very good wins. 3 top 20 wins this season under his belt. Should have beaten Shelton in Canada, which would have made it fourth. he does have a tendency of not serving out matches. Again, we're going back to the point about his first serve not being that great. He has to get over the line in other ways. And a few times now he's failed to get over the line in matches he should have won. Obviously, a Wimbledon quarter finalist. The confidence is high. Musetti will need to be at his best. I think Musetti will win it, like you, Nigel. I think he will win it, but I think it could be tight. I think 3-1 to Musetti here is perhaps the way to go. Plus 290 with Bet Rivers. I mean, the spread, the totals is kind of telling you that's probably what will happen. 37.5 games. That's around about a 3-1 sort of result. And if you feel like one guy is more likely to win it 3-1 than the other, which I do in Musetti, then that's probably the way to go. But yeah, it does get a little bit tricky in round 3. But a Musetti win, but not without a few problems. I think Cobolli will fight hard here.
I think the winner of this match has a real good chance again to at least the quarterfinals. That little section's opened up quite a bit there, and I think they'll look at that as a good opportunity to go very deep in a major, and in the quarterfinals anything can happen. So Musetti and Cobolli, the stakes are high for the Italian. So they're the 4 matches we have covered for you here for tomorrow. 1 today, 3 tomorrow. And I just judging by the way you're speaking there, we've got 2 official plays, have we, for tomorrow?
That's right, yeah. Do you want me to detail them now?
Please, yeah.
So I've written that down wrong, actually. I've put Fritz plus 6.5 games. That's wrong. I'll delete that. Yeah, Jerome Kim plus 6.5 games to beat Taylor Fritz. That's an even money chance for Bet Rivers. And I'm taking a chance on my old pal, Alexander Bublik, at even money against Tommy Paul. Those are the 2 official plays for today's show.
Love the Bublik play. Bublik is playing some great tennis, and Tommy Paul all over the place mentally and physically after that marathon match he played last night till the early hours of the morning here in New York. If you followed all our picks on the channel in 2025, we only go tennis channel do this kind of stuff. We also keep the records as well, unlike anybody else. I think we're about 13 units up on the year so far, and hopefully we can add to that throughout the next 10 days or so here in New York. And finally, if you want to go across to the Bet Rivers website, just 4 matches there for tomorrow. There's some other really interesting matches. Novak Djokovic up against Cam Norrie. Which is a repeat of the match in Rome where Cam Norrie hit the ball at Novak Djokovic, and I got a brilliant video of that. And I wish I had a TikTok account. I wish I had I was at the game. I wish I had a TikTok account then, because I'd have hundreds of thousands of people watching that. So I wish I'd done that.
I'll tell you something about Cam Norrie, having watched it. He is, as I said to a couple of people while I was there, he is a real master of the dark arts, Cam Norrie. He really is. He winds people up. He wound Djokovic up that match that you're talking about, because Cam Norrie is one of the very, very, very few players that will wallop the ball at an opponent at the net, which everybody used to do in the sort of 80s and 90s. Lendl, yeah, no problem. You're at the net. You're there to be hit. Nowadays, if a player hits an opponent, they spend 20 minutes apologising for it. And Norrie did that against Korda. He wound him up a lot against Korda. He hit him at the net. And then when Korda defended himself, Norrie just smashed a winner down the line and then was giving it the come on right in his face. Weirdly, he says "allez" a lot, Cam Norrie. I don't know why. There's as far as I know, there's no French in his background. It's very strange. And he asks for replays of things as well, like that wound Korda up, replays of points, serves that were clearly in. Ask for a video replay. That takes that takes 30 seconds, and Korda was getting really wound up about that. And that's what Cam Norrie does. He gets under the skin of opponents, and the master of the dark arts again, Cam Norrie. But I don't think he's going to do much against Novak Djokovic. I think that's going to be difficult. But Novak, very up and down these days. Dropped a set to Zvida, and could be tricky, but you'd expect him to win.
Also, it's a very good day, a very busy day for our Canadian subscribers. Well, lots of Canadian subscribers, obviously, here on this channel. You got Felix Auger-Aliassime against Zverev, and you got Shapovalov against Yannick Sinner. So it's a busy day ahead tomorrow. Head across to the Bet Rivers website. Make sure you look at all those odds there. Remember that special as well, the profit boost, and our figure just been sent to me by producer John is 14.81 units, so just under 15 units on the show if you bet everything we have done so far in 2025. Big shout out to our fantastic subscribers who we've met here. I know Sean has spent the days with Mike, a subscriber from the channel here.
Matt.
We would take it. Yeah, I was to Matt there. Mike is a guy that took me out for dinner last night. A great friend of mine who's become a friend of mine. And today I'm being taken to the college football at the Army by another one of our brilliant subscribers. What a community we have here. Always
it's great, isn't it?
Amazes me when we go to these places and see people. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, there's so many people that they get in touch, and as I said, that one of them lent me his apartment, and
I don't want to talk about that. I'm not talking about that.
The other time, obviously, I spent quite a long time with Matt as well, talking about tennis and betting and stuff. And it's as I said before, these are opportunities that I never would have had otherwise, and we would never have met these guys, and it's so nice to do.
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody's on this channel has got an apartment in Monaco, Dubai, a couple of my favourite stops, if you're not using it, sort of April time, February time, just give me a shout. Let me know. I'm very happy to take the apartment for you. That's been it for this week. Me and Sean are back on Sunday with the Betting Weekly Game Bet match. And then tomorrow, Saturday, I'll be joined by Rory to look at the best bets on the women's draw. We don't usually come on in the mid-tournament for a women's draw, but we're looking at the best bets on Betting Weekly WTA. Obviously, it's a big weekend, the Premier League action. Betting Weekly Premier League is live now with all your usual 2U, 1U hot dog picks from me, Jack and Dan, and Betting Weekly Extra Time, the best bets across Europe on the in-form duo again. They're incredible. They keep winning. That is Steve Wiss and James Eastham. That will be dropping a little bit later on today. Please hit the subscribe button. As I said, lots to you get in touch with us. If you'd like any bets, anything you like, put it in the comment chat and the chat below. Subscribe to the newsletter. And obviously, remember, you've got that profit boost with Bet Rivers if you log on to your account. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. If you're American, have a great bank holiday weekend. It's Labor Day weekend. So enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back again on Sunday. Take care.